Yes, guys, and welcome to Worldwide F1 for another stream and our first preview of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix 2022. It's your host, Matt, back again for what is another wonderful stream. We've been 10 days off since Monaco. We was planning to get a stream last week, but I completely forgot it was Jubilee weekend in the UK, and I simply didn't have any time or mental capacity after drinking a fair bit to make a stream that was good for you guys. So we decided to take a little break before coming back with a bang with this preview. And I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Wayne. Wayne, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Matt. I'm good. There's a lot of news has come out since Monaco that also we're going to get into. Preview for the Azerbaijan. What I think for me, it's not the most entertaining race, but we'll get into it, of course. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Obviously, me and Matt will go into what we think of the news, what's come out, because obviously we're both Mercedes engines, and that's an interesting topic, and we'll get into. But one thing I will say, keep smashing that like button, share it if you can. All the support you give us is a massive deal from me, Matt, Sadiq, KJ, and we're going to have a new. Hopefully, it will come on soon. He'll be discussing Ferrari, so it's be a good topic because obviously they are doing well at the moment in F1, and he's a massive Ferrari fan, and hopefully he can come on soon and give his opinions as well. So we are trying to grow this brand and make it bigger and better, but we need your support now. So please show your support and love, share it about, show your friends. We'll be very grateful, and we want to build this community and we can talk more and hopefully get other panelists of other Formula One channels on to do the discussions with us. So please show your love and support and be very grateful.
Yeah, if you do want anyone else on from the Formula One community, let us know and we will try and make that happen. Obviously, we're a new channel, so we're trying to get into the community, but I'm sure we will get some major guests on in the upcoming year for you guys. Another personal thing, by the end of the summer break, we want to get to 100 subscribers. We are on 27 already, so big up to everyone that has subscribed. Big up to Elias in the comments. Big up to you. Yes, it's a new haircut. Ready for a wonderful Grand Prix in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But yeah, if you can get us to 100 likes by the end of the summer break, that would be fantastic. And then make sure you share the link out to all your friends so we can improve the watch hours, improve the likes, and get this channel out to as many people as possible. Wayne, obviously starting with you, obviously you kind of mentioned you're not the biggest fan of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Why, for you, are you not a big fan? Because for me, I've always found it quite exciting, mainly because there's a lot of incidents that normally happen. But I also like some of the style of the track. I really love the castle section. While it may not be the best track in the world, because again, it's a street circuit, I think it has that kind of, if I was to say it in the French way, that je ne sais quoi.
Well, I'm not going to sit and say it's not the worst track we've ever seen because we've seen some proper bad tracks in the past. But this circuit is, for me, it's part of it is good to watch, part of it isn't. Like the first section where it's all tight and you've got an opportunity to have a lot of crashes because two cars normally in there normally clash with each other. When something happens, it's a red flag and it's a long time before they go on because of that. And tyre degradation as well is a big thing for me. You normally have tyre degradations at the end. Look at last year, Max Verstappen and Lars Stroll. Both of them tyres went, and look how bad the accidents was. And for me, that's a bit wary of the circuit. Obviously, and as well, I don't understand why you have to have such a big straight because yes, it's a bit curly, but you're still going full throttle, and you're going. Most of that is just straight, and it's like it's like a DRS. You're going to be behind. You're going to know you're going to overtake. For me, it's just I can't explain it. It's just I don't find it entertaining. I want it to be a circuit where you can have the odd like if they kept it on like the front, tight corners and the castle and all that, and going around, I would get that. So I would think, yeah, because circuit is tight, you got to be very precise, similar to Monaco, but in a better circumstance. But because that last bit, it just puts me off.
Yeah, but I'd rather some overtakings on the straight than have nothing at all, like in Monaco. The point
I
the
get
point of
that.
F1 the point of F1 is to overtake. It's not just to follow around for a race. And
Yeah, I get that too. But it's just the fact you get what I'm saying though. It's like it either straight is fine, but not as long as that. It's just do you get what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna go full throttle when you're going to the start line. You're going over 200 miles per hour down that straight. You're going full throttle. For
but
me, it's
you
just
can't really because because it is a curving straight. You can't. It's not like you can overtake on the curves. You have to just follow and then overtake at the end. So it's not like it's one where everyone's just overtaking each other really easily. Thinking of China was perfect one. China's straight was way too big, and that was just one long straight. So I think where it does curve, it does give the advantage of you can only overtake the last bit. And with the tyre degradation as well, I think that it's not so much the problem with the track. Of course, the track has a high degradation in terms of the tyres, but they were on the. I personally think they were on too much of a soft compound. That's why you need to probably go a bit one step harder, and that issue may not occur as much. It was also a very hot day in Baku last time. Whether it will be hot again is another question, but maybe that's an option of where they have to change the Grand Prix, make it a bit earlier so it's not so hot and
yeah.
degradation doesn't happen so much on the
Well,
tyre.
obviously the weather updates will be come from Matt soon because I know he likes doing his weather updates.
Yes, I will get the weather up because that's actually one of the things I didn't prepare for the stream. But thank you, Wayne, for reminding me, as always, to work on it. So we'll have a look at the circuit anyway. We've kind of gone through it a little bit. You get it up. Laptop does not want to recognize that I want to share screen. There we go. So, well, this is the racetrack, pure and simple. As Wayne said, a very tight rectangular sector one. A lot of incidents generally happen in particularly corner two more than
Mm,
anything. You'd think it all happened in corner one. I think the only big thing we've ever seen in corner one was the Hamilton I
not that.
forgot to brake moment last year. But
Mm.
mainly I think you've had instances of Ocon in corner two. You've had a couple of other
Ocon
instances.
Perez, if I remember right there.
Yeah, Perez had one. But obviously you do have that kind of DRS zone in that corner two to corner three. Do you think that helps a little bit with overtaking, or do you think it's a little bit pointless?
No, I think it helps. I think that's why I like this. That's part of the circuit because I think having the arms in that sort of place it helps. I think it's entertaining. And then we get into obviously the middle bit where it's your favourite part, the castle bit, what you love. I'm not a big fan of. 'Cause I think it's pointless. I said it's good to look at, but if for a race driver, it's a bit pointless in my opinion. But obviously, that's your favourite part of the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, I like that's. I just think it's original, it's unique, and I mean, yes, it's not you can't overtake in it, of course, but it's also a nice section in a way for me because you find it's challenging to try and pass an area. It's nice that it provides almost the Formula One cars a bit of a challenge to try and keep following. Obviously, we've had problems where the cars in general have overheated in the past, and that's why they can't follow. But now, where these cars can follow, it's interesting to see how well these cars do follow through the castle section, because you're going to be in people's dirty air still. You're going to have things such as that. I just think it's a very unique esque part that you don't really see on many Grand Prix tracks at all. You could argue for going back to the idea of Monaco. It's a unique, like how Monaco's Marina Bay was originally very unique until half the tracks decided to copy it, whether they're real or fake. Shout out to Miami. Um, but it is something unique. When do we ever go through a castle or
Yeah.
around a castle in a Grand Prix? And it's like Mexico, where you go through the stadium.
Mm.
It's a unique. I am a bit of a sucker for unique stuff in that track, and that's why almost having five corners as well in one little bit. It's quite a challenging part for the drivers. I like circuits that are challenging. I don't like circuits that are so easy for the drivers to drive that you don't really see mistakes. If you see a mistake and you have a mistake in that corner, you're done. Your race is done. Obviously, it would be a red flag, which is a bit annoying, but that's street circuits for you.
Leclerc, for example,
Yeah.
not a couple of years ago, Leclerc, he couldn't do that corner. He went straight on, and he was done for. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it will be interesting with these new cars, especially the big wheels as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers cope now in that circumstances, because it's going to be brand new for all of them. And obviously when we go to this, I don't know how to call it, like corners, but it's like consistently one way to get back on yourself. It is an interesting section. You get some overtakes. You don't really see many instances, I would say, that in this area, because it is quite roomy. You do have a bit of tightness somewhere, but majority of the time it's quite roomy. And then obviously we're going into the main straight where you get the DRS train. We've had instances before, like we said earlier, Lance Stroll and Max Verstappen last year. Obviously you got the pit lane as well. What's interesting, because you're going quite fast, you've got to slow yourself down. I think we've had quite a few pit lane instances with speeding, from right, Matt?
Yeah, you do get a few incidents like that. I mean, one point we do need to remember about stuff that's happened in Sector 3 was it 2 or 3 years ago? It was Breakgate between was it Vettel and Hamilton in the end?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so we could potentially see another Breakgate scenario, which would be very interesting. I always find that is very interesting. A little bit of rivalry like that. But I think this track, what I do like about it is every year there is an incident, and yeah, it's not nice to see someone's tire just burst out, but in a kind of safe way, but in a kind of selfish kind of entertainment way, it made things entertaining. I've not watched the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and gone on board like I would harping back to Monaco last time and Monaco every year near enough. It does provide something it shouldn't really do, because you look at some parts, you think apart from the straight, there's not really too much places to overtake, but it does provide some interesting races, which I do like to see for my races. That's one of the most important things I like to see. Does it provide some sort of challenge? Does it provide some quality? Is it hard for the drivers to race? And I think it does in some ways tick most of them boxes, which I do like to see. Would you agree at all?
yeah, I agree. I'll say I'm not the biggest fan of this circuit, but I don't want to say it's the worst circuit out there. Um, but I'm willing. I don't. For me, if there's incidents, fine, but it's safety is for me, because I get it's entertaining, but I'm a purist in drivers. I like it to be them fighting with both cars fixed, and you see who's the best driver out there. That's for me is I've always enjoyed that when I've been watching Formula One for so long years. So, but I do like the circuit. There's been circuits out there that's India, for example, and North Korea, and there's some circuits we've had. It's just been quite diabolical, but this one seems it's okay. It's not one of the worst. I'm interested to see what it's like with these new cars. and the new system, especially with the uh, bouncing. That's going to cope with the drivers because obviously Mercedes and other drivers have had issues, cars with portions. So it'd be interesting to see how they cope with this race because I think this race it will take a lot of toll on their body. Um, I've got my early pick who I think is going to win it. Might surprise some people, but it'll be interesting to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll save it to the end. Who you think's going to win it? But yeah, I do think it Nippy. Not where was I'm looking at Nippin's channel on the screen. I do think Azerbaijan does provide a lot of surprises. So I think it you got everyone's got to be prepared for it. Which does bring me into one of the news articles, which I will go back onto. Um, where is it? Bloody share screen being annoying. Right, here we go. Was it this one? No, here we go. So it's from the Daily Mirror. I know Daily Mirror. We're not going to speak too much about the source, but it is quote unquote, so we can we can trust this a bit more. So McLaren iron Azerbaijan's success as Lando Norris admits anything can happen in Baku. Lando Norris believes anything can happen at this weekend's Azerbaijan Grand Prix as McLaren chase some much needed points in their midfield battle. The Papaya team currently leads the race to be the best of the rest below the big three, but both Alfa Romeo and Alpine are hot on their heels. In terms of drivers, Norris sits comfortably seventh, but Daniel Ricciardo has struggled for form and managed just 8 points so far this season. Obviously, Wayne, I know you're a big McLaren fan, so you will. I assume you like to hear a bit of optimism. Do you think there could be some success for McLaren this race, or do you think it's going to be another struggle?
Norris, I do. I think Norris has got a very good chance to grab some vital points for us in this Grand Prix. I'm really not. I love Ricardo, but it's his final opportunity for me. He doesn't do anything as Azerbaijan. He doesn't back up Norris what he should do. He needs to go. We need to find someone to come in and replace him. There's drivers out there that could easily do it. I've got eyes on a couple of drivers already. So I just want it to be him to sort himself out because it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into obviously McLaren a bit more later as a car, see whether how they will do in terms of performance wise. But obviously, yeah, I mean Norris, he always gets the best out of the car, even when he's ill. So hopefully he'll be able to achieve a strong finish, especially for you, Wayne, because I think you'll want to see McLaren getting some more points on the board because it'll be a bit worrying if the likes of Alpine start getting ahead of you and you start trundling down to the mid-table.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to some other articles that obviously one big news that came out. Williams fined under the new budget cap rules. They'll fine £20,000 for breaking financial regulations in the 2021 season. So obviously they've broken it, and I know a lot of teams have said that they're going to find it's impossible to stay within this cap. Wayne, obviously we haven't really mentioned it on the channel at all, and I don't think I've actually spoken to you at all about this subject. Do you agree with this wage cap? Obviously everyone is feeling like they're going to struggle with it. So do you think this is something that probably they should admit there's a value in for Formula One, or do you think it just needs changing?
I'll be honest, I don't understand it all. I'm not going to lie to you. Like the money situation with F1, I know there's a big problem there with money with teams. I know there's a lot of teams who are in debt and struggling to stay afloat because of money situations. That's why they're always looking for sponsors. But I'll be honest, I'm not really sure about it all, so I can't really comment in detail. That's why you're here, because you're the smart one out of both of us. You're the detailed person that I can rely on and give me the right news. So, what's your opinion on the situation?
Yeah, I think big up for compliments. I'm not sure whether they are true. I wouldn't say I'm the smartest guy in the world, but yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the budget cap, I do think initially cutting costs in F1, obviously, it is an expensive sport, and there are teams such as Mercedes that can widely spend more than other teams, such as Williams or Haas, that are lower down the pecking order and do struggle sometimes for sponsorships, etc. But I feel like the bar that they've set for this is just way too low. If you're getting every team that is sending signals that they're going to struggle to meet the budget cap, and in some way are going to, it seems like the way they're going to go about it is financial penalties. It just seems pointless if every team is going to break it because they can't follow it. Especially in a season where it's new, completely new regulations. The cars, reliability wise, are not exactly up to complete scratch. There are incidents that happen to different teams in different ways, and there are going to be incidents where cars crash more than others. And I just think is sometimes you do feel it is more some of the smaller teams that have more reliability issues, have more crashes. So is it? I feel is it unfair in a way to penalise the little teams for breaking budget caps, and it's even going to affect the big teams? I think it's a good idea in you kind of on paper, but when it's actually put into perspective in real life, I just feel it's not something that is working out right now, and I think it could and probably should change next season. Maybe it just needs a bit of balancing, but we'll have to wait and see. The next story, Lewis Hamilton again getting comments on his F1 future. Lewis Hamilton again rejected suggestions he'll walk away from the sport or retire after this season. Obviously, he's been unable to recapture the form and consistency from last season, primarily due to the car, but there it is. But he said, as he simply said, he said, "Why should I stop?" Um, do you think? Do you think Wayne with this? Do you agree with Hamilton, or do you think he might be saying that, but do you think there is thoughts in his head of maybe it's time to pack it in?
He's a champion. Lewis Hamilton will want to win, and if Mercedes can't compete with winning with Red Bull and Ferrari by the end of the season, I could see him looking elsewhere. He could easily go into another sport if he wanted to, like IndyCar or something like that, and give that a go. He can easily go and do that, or he can easily stop doing that and doing these because he's got his toe in a lot of businesses. He's both doing an F1 film now with Brad Pitt, I think it is. So he's got that out there already. So he's doing things. But the thing is, for me, is if he did retire, who would come in? Because out there at the moment, if you're going to retire, if Lewis Hamilton retires, you need someone to fill his boots who's going to fill his boots. And there's not many drivers can do that right now.
I don't think anyone can.
Do you mean if you're a Mercedes fan, if he did retire and this season, who would you want to come in to replace him?
Trying to think of someone. I mean, you're not going to like this. I would do anything to have Lando and Russell in the same car.
I get that, and I'd probably say I'd be the smartest move if it did happen, and I would be upset. Of course, I would be, but I'd be happy for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Obviously, you know, I like to look at the driver moves, and we're obviously talking about Hamilton. It's like me, Ricardo. I want Ricardo out at that moment because how he's performing. But who would replace him? There's drivers in my head, but it's still you never know, do you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I get what you're saying that Hamilton is a winner, and if Mercedes can't provide him a car to win, that he may think moving elsewhere. But my problem would be he's on the edge of doing becoming the pinnacle, becoming the GOAT in terms of breaking that final Schumacher record. Surely, when you're that close, I know Mercedes car could be far away, but potentially everything can change in one season. Potentially, Mercedes might by the end of the season get these regulations sorted, get understand the regulations, and then provide a car that can challenge at least. If you're, if, I just find if you're so close to reaching that almighty record of Schumacher, I just don't see why Hamilton would just. I'd almost be a bit disappointed if Hamilton just bowed out now. Um, so I do think while I can understand him moving elsewhere, and I think if he was to move out of Formula One, I'm not sure. I don't know whether he would go into other forms of motor racing. I don't know. I do have this feeling once Formula One is done with Hamilton, I think it may come back future. He may take a couple of years out and then come back, but I do think that it's gonna. I do think he'll move on out of the sport completely if he does leave. We are joined
Go.
by a wonderful guest once again, Sadiq. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Listen, I haven't been watching because I need to get this pod sorted for you. But I thought I'll come on for like 5-10 minutes whilst I can. How are you?
Oh, I'm all good. I'm all good.
Can I
Yeah,
say great timing because obviously Steek is the fanboy of Hamilton. He loves Hamilton. So, what's your opinion on the situation of Hamilton maybe retiring at the end of the season? How do you see it going?
Nah, I think he'll give one more season after all of this stuff. This one he just has to get through it somehow. I hope he gets one win in the season at least to continue the record. But Mercedes need to fix up for next season. They'll probably focus on next season.
yeah. I mean, Sadiq. He obviously once again he was asked today or recently this week whether he would retire, and simply he just said, "Why should I stop?" Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, of course. As soon as they see someone down after winning so much, it's like the best time to try get something out of them or try put them down even more, or try get content out. So, listen, Hamilton's a 8-time winner in my eye, of course. But you know, I think he'll give one more season definitely. How old is Kimmy? Kimmy went on for ages. Kimmy's older, no, by 3 or 4 years.
Kimmy's in the 40s, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, and Hamilton's 37 or 38.
I think he's coming on 38, but
Yeah,
I'm
so
not 100.
he's got at least 1 or 2 more years in my eyes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Going on to another story regarding the Independent. The Independent, I realise as I'll go through, were a bit hypocritical of what they were saying. One minute they're saying one thing and then they're saying another. But so they first say talking about Red Bull, still fear Mercedes potential despite struggles. So Helmut Marko coming out, Mr. Mind Games, in my opinion,
That's
admits
bullcrap.
his team are wary of the danger of Mercedes despite their struggles. Obviously, they're
Bullcrap.
101 points ahead of Mercedes, with Ferrari their closest rivals. Orbison obviously has been the limiting effectiveness of the Mercedes this season. Do you think, Wayne, I'll come to you first. Do you think this is mind games from Marco, or do you think he actually thinks Mercedes are still dangerous coming out towards the end of the season?
I'd be honest, it's mind games, isn't it? It's Red Bull. More than I can sit here and I'll always be like in the middle, but if it comes to mind games, Red Bull and Mercedes, they both play mind games with each other so much. You just don't know what's true or not with them both because uh, they've got this. Not, I don't think they hate each other, but I think they've got this connection of dislike, and they like to wind each other up. And I think that's what Steve's doing. He knows that Mercedes are struggling. He thought I put a little like stick there, just do you know what I mean? Say and try and be the bigger person. You get what I'm saying? But I think it's all mind games.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, Sadiq, do you think Helmut Marko's playing a bit of mind games here? or do you think
Yeah. He's
more
capping,
worried?
man. He's capping. You know he's capping.
I'm
This
trying to be
guy's chatting.
positive. I'm trying to be positive.
He's chatting crap. He's actually chatting so much crap. It's unbelievable. Mercedes are like Ferrari in the past 2 years, where they're decent but not good enough to challenge for the race win. That's where we are. We've literally just swapped positions with Ferrari. That's what's happened.
I don't like
Um,
to admit that, but
but
I
listen, it's just one season. You know, if it goes long term, then you need to start worrying. If it's just, you can't win all the time, man. That's part of the game. And just
yeah.
just before you carry on, I didn't know about this new F1 game. They made it as like Football Manager, but the F1.
Mm.
Matt, you seen it? It's called F1 Management 22.
I did see it. I do want to have a
I might
look
actually
and try
pre-order
it
it.
out.
I genuinely might pre-order it because I was watching it, I was thinking this is like the same game. Then they're like, no, you
I sent it
control.
to. Didn't I send it to both of you? I'm sure I did.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
did,
send it?
Wayne.
Oh, I must have watched it somewhere else. I watched it on an advert on YouTube. I was thinking that's sick. Like you actually
Yeah.
do the strategy, everything. Like
I do like. To be fair, I do like the F1 games though, especially the latest career mode has been fantastic. I think
you're
while
boring.
EA don't do a very good job with FIFA, um, they do a very good job with F1. Two-player career mode was fantastic. Creating your own team was fantastic. But I am excited for this Formula One manager.
Wait, who's Codemasters? Which one are they doing? New one.
That that is normally with EA.
Oh, okay. So a lot of people complain about that one.
No, I found the latest one's been fantastic. A few years ago, it was kind of stagnating a little bit, but I find it's really good this season. Well, last season as well, at least. But
Mm.
it is what it is. I'm sure we'll when it comes out, we'll have a little review of it anyway. Because I will be buying it. I'm sure Sadiq will be buying it. I don't know about Wayne, but maybe
I
he'll
don't
buy
do.
it
I
too.
don't do games anymore, but I like to have a little look here and there.
So the final kind of big news of the weekend, obviously Max Verstappen last season had his issue, little bit of a cry, kick out of the car as you could see. Um, but he said he's got unfinished business at Azerbaijan due to what happened last year. Um, Wayne, do you think he's going to be very committed to getting this win more than arguably other races, or do you think it's another bit of cap from Verstappen?
Now I think it's determined because last year he was clearly winning it, and if I remember rightly, he was so far in front that he weren't really getting spoken about majority of the race because he looked like he was going to clearly win it, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere the tyre obviously blew. Obviously, like we said earlier about the tyres being soft, and it cost him the race, and it cost not him, just him, but it did cost Hamilton as well. So I think he's very determined. I think the car is going to be the one to beat this weekend. Um, and cause we know Verstappen when he's determined, he's a strong competitor, and I think he's going to be hard to beat this weekend.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Sadiq, do you think Verstappen is going to be determined? Do you think he's favourite to win this race this
It's going to be
weekend?
another DNF, my friends, in this race. You know how Leclerc has bad luck at Monaco? This is Max Verstappen's one. He's going to get bad luck somehow. I don't know how, but it's going to be down that long straight. That first dodgy corner, someone goes straight. You know, they can't turn the car. So there's always something. You know what I mean? So I expect something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, as I said to
The
Wayne,
tires, the tires. No one's spoken about the tires in this track. So we've got new tires for the season, and then obviously on this track, going towards 200 miles per hour down the long straight. Listen, it's going to be a real test, people. I expect 3 pit stops, not 2.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly what I was saying earlier. I think it's going to be interesting with the tyres. Like we said earlier, didn't we, Matt, about tyres? Because obviously they're going to be different. And last year they were soft, so if they do a better standard this time. And big up Nippon, we always love you, Pete, mate. Thank you for your support. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like obviously, we were talking about news. There's another little bit of news we haven't got into. I would like to speak about because obviously I've been keeping on the driver market. Gasly is decided he doesn't want to be with Red Bull anymore. He
Good,
wants to get out of his contract.
good,
He wants to move on because he says
good.
he knows with Perez signing his new deal, and I think that'd be a good sign for McLaren. Personally, bring him in for Ricardo. I wouldn't mind that. And the other one is Oscar Piastri might be replacing Latifi in
Mm,
Williams.
mm.
Yeah, I would love Spin Tiffy to be out.
Spitty.
Um,
So some
that's one Canadian gone. Just need the other one, Mr. Megamind himself.
Guys, I got to head out unfortunately. Sorry I couldn't be here for long. I was actually doing a pod and my laptop's so bad the battery died on full charge. So it was literally creating it and then done. So I've got to do it in the next 10 minutes. So it'll be out by 11. But yeah, I'll see you guys very soon, man. Hey
Big up
Matt,
to
let me know
you.
if you're free tomorrow, by the way, because I'm at home.
What
Cool.
time?
Anytime, just let me know what times you're free in general.
All right, I'll let you know.
Cool. I'll see you guys soon.
Big up.
You know.
But yeah, guys, make sure you smash the like button. We are at 7 likes at the moment. If you can get us to 10 likes by the end of this stream, that would be fantastic. Getting us to that like barrier as usual. You always do. So let's go. Let's do it again. And make sure any of you that haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. Yeah, Wayne, on your kind of point, I think Gasly would be fantastic for McLaren. And I think I don't see where else he goes because obviously you have Russell at Mercedes. Yes, Hamilton could leave within the next 3 years. I don't think he'll leave next season. But does Gasly want to wait for that long and risk not getting it and then being really stuck? I think, as you said, Ricardo, I think he's gone at the end of the season. I think that probably has been already kind of decided in McLaren's heads. It just hasn't been publicly mentioned and probably hasn't been completely discussed with Daniel yet. But yeah, I just don't see anywhere else, because everywhere else I just feel would be a bit of a sidestep. So I think that is a good point. And then yeah, as you said with Latifi, I think I've said Latifi is at the moment he's stealing the spot. I think Mick Schumacher is stealing the spot. I think
Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll is stealing a spot and a half. So I think we can get some more of these drivers in. Would be great. And even if Oscar might fail, and that's
But
fine.
they
But
give him a
we need to give
chance.
these guys a chance. And then that's, I mean, you get one season to maybe just bed in. That's fine. But I do, you can't really you can't really give people a lot of time because there's a lot of talent coming through, and a lot of
Hmm.
people. It's a small sport. It's not like football where you have thousands of players, hundreds of teams where you can go into different routes and get out that way. You have 10 teams, you have 20 spots, and you have probably 40 to 50 really talented drivers. Unfortunately, some of them 20 spots are taken up by absolute knobs that can't drive. But there you go. It is what it is. Nippin has brought up an interesting point, and it's always been
Mm,
mentioned by people. Wayne, do you see Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari if he was to leave?
I can't. The reason why is you always have that one leader in every team, don't you? And at the moment, Ferrari is Charles Leclerc. And I just can't see that changing for a while because even though he's a bad luck at Monaco, Charles Leclerc is a very good driver. And he's proven it. So why would Lewis Hamilton go there to be second fiddle?
Yeah,
And
I mean
to me,
there are teams where it is. I know they're always theoretically as the number one driver, but there are teams where you almost don't notice that there's a number one driver because they're very political, but they're very low key about it. So the only thing that I would argue is every big driver wants to at some point drive a Ferrari. So maybe it would it be that almost last bow out that Hamilton goes, well, maybe I'll settle with being maybe not second fiddle, but maybe not being number one and try and maybe to potentially fight Leclerc. If Ferrari are dominant, I don't and do squeeze out Red Bull and become a dominant car, I don't see why Hamilton wouldn't. And at the same time, I don't see Ferrari going, no thanks. I see them going, wow, if we can get Lewis Hamilton in this car, we'll snap your hands off. I'm sorry, Sainz. They might like Sainz, but they will look at that and go, how much of a fantastic lineup would that be to have Leclerc and Hamilton?
Of course, but you look at the money situation. They've just offered Science a new contract. It's big money, and then all of a sudden, end of the season, we're going to cancel that contract because we've got Hamilton. They're not going to look good on the front of that as a what's it called published. It doesn't look good on that sense, but I get what you're saying. It is a marquee driver, not, and I can see. I'm not going to sit and say I couldn't see Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. I could easily see it. I could even see it be like Michael Schumacher. Now you see it, but realistically, I just can't. And if it happens, Lewis Hamilton will break the record. Simple as.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting one. Depending on, we appreciate that as a one debate we could probably go on and on about it with those people. So thank you for that. We appreciate that question. If you've got questions, keep just giving us your questions. We're more welcome to answer any questions in Formula One. We do our best. You got me, who's watched Formula One for over 20 years now, and he's a big and watched it from day one. He knows a bit of watching it. But if you want the technical bits and you want knowledge, Matt's your man. If you want anything that will talk to what's inside and out, Matt's your man. And he will answer any questions you've got for him because he's very smart in this sort of situation.
Big up to Wayne. Big up to Wayne. Yeah, I think the last thing I'd kind of make on that point, I do agree with your point. I don't see it happening at the end of this season, but at the end of next season, I think is a completely different kettle of fish. I think once the contracts run out, and I do understand the money, it's a lot of money they're paying Sainz, but at the same time, the money you would get from Lewis Hamilton and his branding all over that Ferrari shirt, you are getting people worldwide. You're getting people worldwide. You're going to see. You got kind of the orange wall in terms of Verstappen fans. You're going to have a big red wall in terms of just Lewis Hamilton fans in a Ferrari. That combines two major groups of fans together in terms of the Lewis Hamilton fans and the Ferrari fans.
But can you remember Michael Schumacher when he was in Ferrari? How big that was?
Yeah.
That's what I could see with Lewis Hamilton. So that's how big. And if you're a Formula One fan, you know what I'm on about. Michael Schumacher was not just. He was spooky. If you spoke about Michael Schumacher on that circuit, you knew he's going to be up the top. You knew he's going to do something on that day. He didn't have. He's one of those drivers who just in that car. It was just a spooky time, and one of the most enjoyable moments I've ever seen is him racing because he's top there. And I think Lewis Hamilton, if he gets in that Ferrari, he's going to prove himself to be up there with him. He's proven it anyway, but in that Mercedes and that, but in the Ferrari, I think Mercedes, everyone will be like, nah, we can't do nothing here because he's going to win it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I think would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think I personally think no amount of money that signs his contract would be a problem because I think Ferrari would make it back with Hamilton 100%, especially if he does break the record in their car. But it is what it is. We'll kind of move on from that topic because we've got about 15 minutes left before we all finish up. So make sure you guys smash the like button. And any questions that you want to give us in this last 15 minutes, we'll answer. But Wayne, the main question I want to ask you, obviously going into the qualifying and the race. Who do you think are the biggest winners in this race, and who do you think are going to be the biggest losers in this race?
Well, team-wise, I think the biggest winners. I'm probably going to say, but I think Mercedes are going to surprise people this weekend. I think they're prepared for what is coming. I think Russell is my surprise pick for the win. I think he could get his first win this weekend. I think he's a good driver. I think the driver who could put him up there is Perez, because I think his circuit suits him and he's in good form at the moment. I think it can be interesting. I don't think there's a clear team that's up there who's better than anyone else. I think it's going to be McLaren. I think it will be the fourth. I think Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull are going to be the teams to be up there. I don't think we're going to top six. I can't see anyone getting them in there with the top six.
Yeah, I mean, who would you say is your biggest losers? Obviously taking out Williams, because we know they're going to be bottom anyway.
If I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's us. I wouldn't be surprised if it's McLaren. But I think AlphaTauri and maybe Alfa Romeo, I think they're both going to struggle, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I think there's going to be some shocking things that happen in this Grand Prix. I can feel it. I can feel something rumbling. I do think there is going to be at least 6, maybe 7 retirements in total in the race. Some just pure mechanical failures. A big crash up front between 2 drivers, which will allow some very strange rankings in terms of points. I do think in terms of the biggest losers, I do think McLaren as a team will be the biggest losers. I think Ricciardo will do his usual 14th, 15th. And I think Lando Norris is going to have some sort of technical failure after having a decent race for his standards. And that's going to bow McLaren into something horrible, because they know Alpine and that are on their tails. Who I think the biggest winners will be, I again agree with Wayne. I think it's going to be Mercedes, because I do expect, and people are going to go laugh, as I kind of put on the thumbnail, I do expect a Verstappen-Leclerc incident. As you said, Verstappen is very much fired up for this one. He's going to leave no stone unturned. And you know when Verstappen is fired up, you know that breeds trouble. I think Leclerc and Verstappen have come close with that without actually being making contact with each other. But I think this will be the race where it's going to be on the straight. Something's going to happen. They're going to clash each other. It's going to cause a red flag. And then it's up to Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, and Russell to go for it. I do think Perez will win, probably. But I do see a Hamilton-Russell podium to follow that up. And Sainz, I think, will lag behind for some reason or another. Maybe I think it might be due to possibly getting stuck up in the red flag and pits. But I do just see Sainz for some reason not being in there. And then behind that, I do expect Alpine to be right up there behind. I do expect Haas to have a good race, actually. Or if I'm saying Haas, I mean Kevin Magnussen. I don't know about Schumacher. Schumacher can do what Schumacher wants to do. But again, I do see Alfa Romeo struggling with Williams at the bottom. And then obviously McLaren having the retirement of Norris and Ricciardo being Ricciardo, which would be disappointing. So obviously you mentioned you think Russell could win the race. Who would be your other guys on the podium if you were to predict it?
Russell first, Perez second. So I think I think it'd be quite a lot of instances. And if Verstappen and Leclerc with you as well, I think there could be a crash with both of them. 'Cause I think they're both going that first corner. I could see them clipping each other, or punches or something. It could take them out of the game. So I think it'd be Perez second, and I'm going to stick my neck out. Ocon third.
Oh God, Ocon did very well in one of these races. I seem to remember he did very well at Azerbaijan one year. So actually, I can understand that completely. And who going into kind of qualifying form, who do you think is taking pole and starting the Grand Prix in first place?
I think it'd be Leclerc. I think he has, for some reason, qualifying, he's got it hooked on. And I think we both can agree with that. He's in qualifying, there's something's with it at the moment. He's just nailing it at the right time to get pole.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're both in massive agreement at the moment. I do think Leclerc will be pole. I think Verstappen will be closely behind, with Perez third, Sainz fourth, Russell fifth, Hamilton sixth, and then the mid pack follow behind that. I imagine Norris, Alpine fighting for them last few places in the top 10, and then everything else following a suit. But yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't think necessarily Leclerc and Verstappen are going to clash in the first corner. I do think it will happen midway through the race, as Verstappen starts getting frustrated that Leclerc is ahead of him. I think it'll be soon after one of the pits. Not similar to kind of similar to how in Monza, Verstappen and Hamilton coming out of the pits. One of them will come out of the pits, be fighting, and I think there's going to be an incident into that turn one, turn two.
That
I'm not.
I actually go down the history for me. That was one of the most bizarre moments I've ever seen in my life on Formula One.
Honestly, last season, there's so many points you could just point out and look at and go, "What the hell has happened here?" But we will do that one at one point. We will go back and just review certain moments, certain races. I think that's what some things we are going to do in obviously breaks, weeks in between when we haven't got F1, because I think that would be very interesting. Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously we've kind of covered most things in terms of obviously predictions for qualifying, predictions for the race, particularly incidents within the race. Do you have anything to finish up with, Wayne? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, obviously, like we said earlier in the stream, we're grateful for all the work, support you're all giving us, and it means a lot to all of us. So please smash that like button. Please share it about to your friends and the F1 community, and get us more likes. And we would like to start doing some collabs with other F1 channels. I've got a couple in mind that I'm going to talk to Matt about, but we'll want you involved as well. So please let us know what you think, what your opinions are on F1, what we're doing, if there's anything we can improve on, if there's anything you think that we can do better. We'll be all grateful for that. We both are very, I can't put it, we're interested in knowing what you think. Because we are doing, not just doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for you guys as well. We're doing it so we can share our knowledge and have a chat and be able to get you to talk to us as well and get your opinions and getting your say as well. So please let us know what you think. We would be very grateful.
Yes, definitely. Big up, Rob, joining us 54 minutes late, but that's fine. I know if you're watching from down under, so big up to him for that. Obviously, I can't think of what the time zone is, but I know it must be early in the morning for him. So big up to him. Watching from going back and listening to the start, perfect thing to do. Thanks, Rob, for that. Big up to you. One thing I was going to talk about, obviously, yeah. Do you think, obviously, we've got Stroll, who literally, obviously, we know he's not going to depart the sport anytime soon because of the backing he's got behind him. And obviously, there are other seats going on. And I was watching kind of the Formula E at the weekend, and it is improving each season as it goes on. It's starting to look good. At first, I was kind of like, "What is this?" Kind of thing, but now it's starting to become good. Do you think that is a pathway where Formula One itself is going to lose talent, not just how it used to IndyCar and other forms of motorsport in that way, but do you think they're going to start losing it to Formula E in a big way?
We have already. There's drivers like Dan Tickman, Jake Dennis. You got a couple of drivers who used to race for the Red Bull team. They used to work with the Red Bull team. They're gone and they're winning championships and doing really well. You got IndyCar, you really got like Cam Ilott, Lindegaard. You look, Roman Grosjean, look how he's doing over there. Marcus Ericsson just won the Indy 500. Unfortunately, it is happening because Formula One is not. It's always about Formula One, but now there's other places for drivers to go that can earn their money and are getting appreciated for their values. And I think everyone needs to look at that and realise some drivers will need to sort it out because Lawrence Stroll, I hope he does walk away with his dad. I do, in a way, but in the same way I don't because I know Aston Martin need that money. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think they're losing drivers. They need to realise what they've got because there's a lot of good drivers coming up at the moment. There's Dennis Hauger, Jules Vips, Oscar Piastri. There's quite a few drivers out there that are quite talented and that we need to keep them in F1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Rob makes a good point. I think as much as I'd like to see it, definitely, I don't think. I think there is so much money to make in F1, so I'm not sure that they will leave straight away. Maybe they will, but I do see the money aspect, and then thinking of the profits they could make is the reason that they might want to stay. Don't know if it's been talked about, but Gasly to McLaren to replace Danny Rick would be a good move. See, Rob, we did speak about that earlier, but yeah, I think we both said that. I think it's the only move for Gasly that I think would make sense. And I think, obviously, going back onto that, Wayne, do you think Lando and Gasly would be a good partnership together? Because obviously, it's important to have a good chemistry between your drivers together. Do you think that would be a good partnership, or do you think that could be something that needs to be worked on?
That's what I worry about because Gazzy's quite hot-headed. He has got that little bit of like, I'm the man, you follow me. That's why I think he suits AlphaTauri because he is the leader and everyone looks up to him. But if his attitude is going to be completely different to Ricardo because Ricardo's very laid back. If he's a competitive, but he's a very laid back person, and him and Lando Norris get on. I think Lando Norris always gets on with everyone. Look at what he was like with Science, for example. Him and Science are just brilliant. And Russell, like we said earlier about Russell as well. So I worry about it on the Gasly side of it, not Norris. Cause I think Norris will get on with him. But Gasly, I think it could be a bit spicy, shall we say? So it'd be interesting, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of spiciness and a bit of competitive in the team. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it needs competition at the moment because Ricardo is not given that at the moment. I think Norris needs to be pushed, whether Gasly is the right fit, because obviously you want it to be fiery, but there is a very fine line between fiery and then Nico Rosberg Hamilton settings, where it just went way over the top for a good season, and arguably, again, it was something that ruined what was a good F1 season, but there was incidents there that you again could really talk about and go,
Spain.
well, yeah, Spain. You had was it Austria, which Rosberg got a penalty for in the end. There are incidents where it has gone out of place. So I obviously where they're not fighting for titles, it might not get to that level, but you got to be very careful of it. I think we will finish up there. We've hit dead on the hour. Perfect timing for that. So big up to everyone that watched. We are currently on 8 likes. I want us to get us to 10 likes. So I want to come off this stream and I want to see some people smashing that like button, getting it to 10 subscribers. Anyone that's watching back, make sure you hit that like button so it can get out to as many people as possible. I'm seeing people worldwide listening to this, and that's what we want. We want people from around the world listening to us and creating a very good, diverse community to talk about the best sport in the world, F1. So, Wayne, thank you for coming on once again as the lovely co-host.
I appreciate it all, like always, and I appreciate you inviting me on, and I appreciate everyone, all the support and everything. What Matt said is correct, and as well, if you come in and you smash that like button, you support us. When we can start doing super chats and start doing stuff like that, we can invite you on, and you can have your opinion with us and have a conversation with us, and that's what we want. We want to talk to you. We want your opinions, and that's why we're doing this. So please keep on smashing that like button, show your support and show your love. We do appreciate it so much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once we get some more people in, consistent chat going, we will do live shows where it will literally just be a call in and we can come in and debate whatever you guys want. Obviously, keep it PG, but we will have that. That is future plans. So you guys can help us to that by smashing the like button, getting this channel out to as many people as possible. Any F1 channels, big ones, make sure you share the link in there. Get other people to see our channel and try and subscribe to it and like it and get as much attention to us as possible. I mean, big up to Elias, Nippin, Alfred, Jose, Rob, all you guys for making comments. Really appreciate it. So yeah, this is Matt. This is Wayne. Before we go, we will probably only do a stream post race rather than qualify. I have got personal issues that I need to deal with this weekend, so it depends on if we can get a host in and some
It might
guests
be
on.
Monday if we be honest, because obviously we've got both of us have got a lot going on. So maybe Monday if we can sort it out. Me, Matt, and or Sadiq or one of us, we can try and do it then. But fortunately, because of things that happen, but we will keep it all into our tiles so we can talk about it all. So don't worry. So we won't stop talking about any incidents because we're going to be loads of incidents this weekend. We won't miss anything. So don't worry.
Yeah, so make sure you just like and subscribe, because if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll never miss a video because you'll always be notified when we go live. And we will put in the community tab what we will do for this weekend, what our plan is, so you guys know and keep up to date. So yeah, this is Matt, this is Wayne, this is Worldwide F1 signing out.